Greetings. My name is Aid. Holy Aid. Let us begin with today's lecture. And the Lord said, Thou shalt not go to Lari, go to Ava instead. One part of Wynncraft's lore that is often surprisingly overlooked is religion. Other fantasy worlds, like A Song of Ice and Fire, have truly iconic religions. Wynncraft has religions too, but they are often either ignored or disregarded as a joke. But with the release of the Fruma update, religion has gotten some much needed love and improvements. So allow me to be the first preacher of the bovine church on Earth. Only with me you will be able to achieve true enlightenment. Who am I kidding? We are all Wynncraft players, we are all going to rot in hell for eternity. Let's start with Bovemism, the oldest religion in Wynncraft. Reports of bovine sermons date all the way back to 2015. On the surface, Bovemism is a meta-joke about cows being the creator of the world, because Salted, the server's owner, has a cow persona. I don't know, are cows considered furry? And while we're on topic, my name is not Eat the Furry, okay? I do not eat furries. Although Salted looks kinda delicious. You can see Bovemist churches all over the Wynn province, with the most prominent being the Nemrek church. What's interesting, Bovemist holy institutions are called churches, which is obviously a Christian term. There are even some subtle Christian influences mixed in, like the halo in the Church of Nemrek. Maybe Cow Jesus is real after all. Wynncraft later added Wocs to the game, weird humanoid cow creatures. Canonically, they are aliens sent to Earth for unknown reasons. Whether Wocs are tied to Bovemism is unknown, but considering Bovemism is the main religion in the Wynn province, I can't help imagine a medieval Wynn farmer spotting a two-legged cow alien and starting an entire religion around it. The elves in Gavel worship Orphion as their god, the embodiment of light, who is being opposed by Durny the Durnbeast, the embodiment of darkness and evil. Orphion made contact with the elves a few thousand years ago and taught them his morals. However, as much as Orphion wants everyone to see him as this benevolent and moral god, there are quite a few red flags in his behavior that may hint on something more sinister going on beneath the surface. I once did a video explaining why Orphion is actually the evil guy all along, but that video is quite old and it's not very good, so please don't watch it. I will explain everything here. The Guardian of the Forest, you know, the funny tree with the face, takes 5 minutes to explain to Lari why she's been wrong and what she must do instead. But Orphion had centuries worth of time to explain, yet he never did. This seemed very sus, so I proposed the idea that the parasite was never a real threat, and Orphion just used it as an excuse to weaponize the players and the elves. There were some more interesting developments since that video, like they turned Orphion into a marketable plushie. This new makeship campaign for the baby Orphion pet has some very interesting details that would gloss over normal people's eyes. First of all, it says, unlike the real Orphion, he won't try to spread the influence of light into your home, meaning that the main goal of the real Orphion isn't to restore balance, but to expand his empire of light, which aligns with my previous video about him being a dictator. Another interesting detail, why baby Orphion? Is this plushie a literal child of Orphion? We never see him having a mate, and according to my own fanfictions, he is gay anyway, so he must have the ability to reproduce asexually. Why would you even need 1112 children? That seems a bit excessive. Maybe he's using them as child soldiers. Scientifically, light obviously doesn't have a political system, but if we take into consideration that light can act as a wave and as a particle, depending on if someone looks at it or not, it is safe to assume that as long as no one looks at Orphion, he is a dictator and therefore evil. This is similar to the Schrödinger's cat thought experiment. The cat is simultaneously dead and alive, and Orphion is simultaneously a tyrannical dictator and an innocent-looking, delicious furry twin. I know, this all sounds like pseudoscience, but believe me, I've done almost 1 minute of research, and I've asked my physics professor about it. He asked me what I'm doing in his house and then called the cops on me, but he didn't say no to this theory, so it's confirmed by an actual professor. This is where things get interesting. The ancient Frumans worshipped 5 elemental animals. Each of these gods created parts of the world, taught humans different skills, and is strongly associated with one of the Fruman districts. First, we have Atlahas, the fox god of water, the creator of lakes and rivers, who taught humans to raise and care for their families. This god is strongly tied to the Auburn forest. The influences can still be seen today through names like the Red Fox Inn in Esperin or the Auburn Fox Pet. Next is Tolos, the deer god of earth, creator of plant and animal life, who taught humans farming. Strongly associated with the industrial district, formerly known as the agricultural district. Next is Saschahuth, the owl god of air, protector of humanity, who taught humans how to defend themselves through combat, linked to the Mistwoods. Nasaheksh, the winged serpent god of thunder, creator of thunderstorms, who taught humans how to use magic, associated with the highlands. And finally, Nephilis, the salamander god of fire, creator of mountains and lava, who taught humans mining. Although currently unknown, it is most likely tied to the unreleased Wasteland district. Furthermore, each god is connected to a certain type of rune. Runes were used by multiple cultures in Wynncraft, including the Olm, the Elves, and the ancient Frumans. Unrelated to the elemental animals, Fruma also has a strong butterfly motif. The queen in human form resembles a butterfly. Butterflies are all over ornaments and decorations, and there is even a newspaper in Hyloch, the Daily Butterfly. Butterflies probably aren't gods, but they are still seen as special, because they tie into the concept of metamorphosis. This is connected to the Fruma Mystery ARG that I would have liked to participate in, but unfortunately my professor just decided to schedule an exam right in the same week, so instead of working with floor patterns and golden ratios, I was forced to do quantum physics and calculating Hartree-Fock wave functions. Bruh. So thank you, my professor. Metamorphosis is linked to revival. Religious parallels obviously include the second coming of Jesus in Christianity and the cycle of rebirth in Hinduism and Buddhism. Metamorphosis especially is the idea of something bad and ugly, like a caterpillar, transforming into something much grander and prettier, like a butterfly. If we apply this line of thinking onto the Fruma province, the hard work of the citizens will later pay off to create a utopia on Earth. I briefly want to bring up Grooks. These low-level chicken-like farm animals aren't gods, but in A Journey Beyond, Aladar says thank Grook instead of thank God. This could be a joke, or maybe there's a deeper meaning. For some reason, I immediately thought of Bob's animals. Cows have the Bovemists worshipping them, so why couldn't Grooks or chicken also have some godlike powers? If we think about Bob's animals as godlike, doesn't that remind you of the ancient Fruman religion? And considering the Order of the Grook teaches about magic and elements, we have come full circle with the Fruman religion. Maybe this is pure lunacy on my part, but I strongly believe that Bob's animals have some godlike power. Considering that if you collect all 3 parts of Bob's animals, they can literally revive him. This is sounding very much like a certain Holy Bible boy, isn't it? Let's speedrun some other fates being worshipped around Wynncraft. The Dogun in the Molten Heights worship Garaheth, a big fire demon. Dwarves have, to my knowledge, no religion at all. Yahya obviously worships mushrooms. But what's interesting is that Yahya lost his mind while studying the meteors. Now's the question, do meteors blindly corrupt people's minds, or is there a pattern to it? Seeing as in the Shattered Minds quest, Yahya is connected to the mysteries of light, maybe mushrooms play a bigger role. And with that, I hope you feel a little bit more enlightened than you did before. I will be off to the Bovemis church gathering now. I hear they are serving a few furries over there to eat. And I don't know why I'm swearing this all the time, it's May, so bye bye.